Welcome to Sunday School for our junior high students for October 13th, 2024. I do not own the rights to this music. Today's Bible basis is coming out of Job chapter 24, verse 1, verses 9 through 12, and then verses 19 through 25. The memory verse is Job chapter 24, verse 1. Why seeing times are not hidden from the Almighty? Do they that know him not see his days? The title of today's story is Conquer It. Eve and Heather were outside the school walking around. They were looking for their friend, wondering to themselves whether she had gone home. Heather was talking excitedly. "Heather, you're freaking me out," Eve said dryly. "Why are you so excited?" "I told you, Eve," Heather said. "I'm excited about this new thing I learned at your church, this new way to pray." "Oh, really?" Eve stopped and acted like she and Heather hadn't been talking about this for several minutes. Heather nodded. "Yes. Stop being dramatic," she said sarcastically. Eve twirled her curls and thought about it for a moment. Miss Denton has been talking about listening prayer for months. Miss Denton was Eve's Sunday school teacher. She went to a prayer retreat with the pastor and a few other leaders. They all came back with these new ways to think about prayer. They've been bringing it up all the time. Bible study, youth meetings, choir rehearsals, Eve said, counting with their fingers. "It's a bit much." Heather shrugged. "I'm glad I got to hear it because I hadn't prayed in a long time. With all that was going on in my family, I got so worried. I forgot to talk with God about it. But this listening prayer really helps me trust God's timing." Eve nodded and smiled. She suddenly felt like she had something to do with her friend's spiritual growth. "You know what I've been going through," Heather said. "And this was an easy way to come back to God. He's waiting for you, girl." "I guess he still hasn't said anything yet, but I'll keep listening." Our lesson scripture, Job chapter 24, verse 1, verses 9 through 12, and then verses 19 through 25. Why seeing times are not hidden from the Almighty? Do they that know him not see his days? They pluck the fatherless from the breast and take a pledge of the poor. They cause him to go naked without clothing, and they take away the sheep from the hungry, which make oil within their walls, and tread their wine presses and suffer thirst. Men groan from out of the city, and the soul of the wounded crieth out, yet God layeth not folly to them. Drought and heat consume the snow waters, so doth the grave those which have sinned. The womb shall forget him, the worm shall feed sweetly on him. He shall be no more remembered, and wickedness shall be broken as a tree. He evil entreateth the barren that beareth not, and doeth not good to the widow. He draweth also the mighty with his power. He riseth up, and no man is sure of life. Though it be given him to be in safety, whereon he resteth, yet his eyes are upon their ways. They are exalted for a little while, but are gone and brought low. They are taken out of the way as all other, and cut off as the tops of the ears of corn. And if it be not so now, who will make me a liar, and make my speech nothing worth? Hope complains. Amid his own sufferings, Job sees the suffering of others too. Job prays honestly, saying neither he nor the poor have done anything to deserve punishment, yet they continue to be oppressed. Still, Job trusts God. He knows that God will bring justice in his own time. How to pray honestly? Number 1, show your emotions. Your feelings are real and important in any relationship. Number 2, trust that God already knows and cares about how you feel and what you're going to pray about. Number 3, read others' prayers. in the Bible. Besides Job, David prayed honestly in the Psalms, and Jesus prayed before he died. And that's Matthew chapter 26, verse 39. Number 4, know that God will help and rescue you. This part of our lesson is the Bible application, and it's true or false questions. There's about 5. So answer or write down on a sheet of paper, true or false. Number 1, or else you can just speak your answer. Number 1, bad things happen to you only when you do something wrong. Is that true or false? Number 2, we can always trust God to act for justice. Is that true or false? Number 3, we shouldn't tell God how we honestly feel. Is that true or false? Number 4, Job trusted God. Is that true or false? And number 5, knowing God means having hardships sometimes. Is that true or false? Supporting the upright. Sometimes it seems as though the wicked people in the world get all the breaks and cannot be stopped from doing terrible things. How can this picture be changed? Job complains that God supports the evil ones, but only for a while. However, he also affirms that even so, God saves the needy and gives the poor hope in their struggles. God doesn't leave us alone. He saves us. He rescues us, even when it doesn't look as if He will come through. Take a few minutes this week to remember this lesson and write a letter from Job to your class. Imagine that Job wished to explain his trust in God to the class. If you like, bring it back next week for your teacher to read and share with the class. The end. God bless you and thank you for joining me today.